What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes news for July 11th, 2023. So, we got the skill card for the new Doppelganger Natalia a day early. I don't know if I'm just sleep deprived, which I very much well could be, or this is just one of the most keyworded heroes I have ever heard. I feel like you need a PhD to actually understand this hero's skills, and like there's literally if actually what are there? There's 5 different keywords on this hero, 4 different keywords, something like that. Whew. So yeah, let's jump into this. Let's talk about this because it can be a bit confusing. It does feel like she is more of a support role, so if you're looking for a damage dealer, I don't necessarily think she's going to be the one for you, but you never know. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get going. So yes, you can see right here there's a ton of different verbiages going on. let's see what we can do here. So number 1, the active skill. I'm going to try to put all of it on the screen at the same time. Here we go. Dance of Shadowland. Active skill. Deals attack damage to random enemies. It doesn't tell us how many. Probably 3. Deals extra attack damage for every certain number of attribute reduction effect on the target. So it's very specific on saying attribute reduction and not just debuffs. So like dots and things like that, I don't believe will count here. Same with marks, those won't count because attribute reduction is like the specific purify that we have as well for debuffs. So keep that in mind. So it'll deal extra damage if there's more of those on there, which is very similar to Natalie. Afterward, deals damage equal to a certain percentage of the total damage to enemies with Undying Shadow, which Undying Shadow is a skill effect, can trigger special effects through her active and passive skills. When an enemy with this ability is killed, so the enemy with the highest attack will be inflicted with it again. So I believe Undying Shadow will automatically go to the highest attack enemy. But it's basically saying here, grants guiding glow to self and allies that have Bright Blessing. Well, first we have to understand what Bright Blessing is. Skill effect can trigger effects, blah, blah, blah. When an ally with Bright Blessing is killed, ally with the highest attack will be given it. So it seems like at the beginning of battle, most likely her and the highest attack ally will get Bright Blessing. So that will give them Guiding Glow, which again is another skill effect. Increases attack, holy damage, damage reduction, and crit damage. Those are all really good. Those are really good stats, especially if it's going to your highest attack ally on top of herself. Those are really good. For several rounds, it's giving that. Then there's a chance to replicate random attribute reduction effects from self to enemies that have Undying Shadow, so probably the highest attack enemy. The remaining duration and certain percentage of the debuff's effects will be reserved. Interesting. I don't know. So it's taking debuffs that she has or your highest attack ally has and putting it on the enemy. Interesting. Ode to Holy Light. Changes the basic attack to deals attack damage to the frontline enemies. Deals extra damage for every certain number of attributes. Same ability that basically the active had. And then grants self and allies that have Bright Blessing a shield equal to a certain percentage of the damage dealt. However, basic attacks usually don't do much damage. It's not going to be probably that big of a shield. It does give her some self-sustain though, with a shield effect. There is a chance to replicate random attribute buffs from self to other allies with Bright Blessing. So not only can she replicate debuffs from her to the enemy, now she can also replicate buffs on her to other allies. The remaining duration and percentage is reserved, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's keep going. Number 3, excellent twins. At the beginning of each round, or when self is a battle substitute, inflicts Undying Shadow and Bright Blessing to the enemy with the highest attack and the ally with the highest attack, respectively, to the end of the battle. So yeah, those abilities are just going to like a single target on the enemy side and a single target on the ally side, both having the highest attack. Then gains Fluorescent Shield when self HP or the HP of ally with Bright Blessing is below a certain percentage of health for the first time. So it's only the first time. So this basically restores self HP. It sounds a lot like the Fairy Queen Vesta type ability, while also giving holy damage. I mean, it's good survivability, I guess. We got to see how it turns out. It can only happen one time, though, in a battle, which isn't great. Unless it's again, like Fairy Queen Vessel, where it's like a full heal and everything. Next up is Double Nature. When self or an ally with Bright Blessing is under a basic attack or takes damage from an active skill, deals attack damage to the attacker and reduces their crit for several rounds. We have so many ways to like reduce crit on enemies now. It seems like we're going a little overkill on it, but we'll have to see. When self or an ally with Bright Blessing launches basic attacks or releases active skills to the target with Undying Shadow, that's the highest attack enemy, there is a chance to replicate random attribute reduction effects from that target to frontline enemies. The remaining duration and certain percentage will be reserved. Again, I don't know if I really like this hero yet. I'm kind of skeptical. And then we do have the core ability here. When the battle starts and when the round ends, there's a chance to inflict random effects from the followings on all enemies. Meanwhile, enemy with the highest speed will inflict with extra effect. So reduces their control immunity, speed, or energy for several rounds. That kind of sounds good. The core sounds interesting, because there's a chance to inflict it and then a double chance for the enemy with the high speed. Also, there's a chance to grant random effects from the following to all allies. Meanwhile, the ally with the highest speed will be granted an extra effect. Increase holy damage, control immunity, offset crit damage for several rounds. Because it's random, I don't like it, because it's like control immunity, offset crit damage. If you want to use this in like a PvE scenario, it doesn't really do much. I don't know. It's so far feels a little underwhelming. I don't know why warriors are the only like damage dealers in this game, though, honestly, whereas like this very much feels like a pure support style hero in all honesty, but maybe her abilities pack a punch. We'll have to see. These look like they're going to be her tenants, so yeah, you got Vulcan or Doom Terminator Vulcan, Mutated Fungus G-Stir. You got herself and Machman in the first slot. Eos, and I mean, those are pretty decent. Those aren't like horrible tenants to have. You got herself as Ranger. G-Star's an assassin, right? Man, yeah, assassin. You got Mage. You got Warrior. Pretty solid. And then it says at the same time, Doppelganger, Natalia is also the number 4 tenant for Phantom, or for Mystic Fairy. My god, the translations here are horrible. For essentially Mystic Fairy Freya. Number 4 tenant for Mystic Fairy Freya, and for Vulcan, Doom Terminator Vulcan. So Vulcan is going to be getting her as a 4th tenant spot. Don't know what that is right now. I think like Vulcan's got a pretty good household already, so if anything, this does kind of just boost it up, because it potentially means you can build like a Vulcan account and have her on it too, and maybe it can support pretty well. I'm kind of unsure about this though. The tenants seem good for her. I just want to confirm while we're here, instead of jumping on there, I'm going to jump on over here, take a look at Vulcan's current tenants. Asmodel the Dauntless is the final one, so actually that could be kind of nice for our own account. We might convert one of those Asmodels we have to her as a tenant spot. That way we can actually get her powered up, but she's not going to be a household or anything. I don't know. Confused. First glance, I feel like I don't like this hero. Second glance, might be exactly what we need to push our own Light Sealand further. We'll have to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.